What's going on, everybody? ChromeOnRust here. We're going to be taking a look at a newer Witch Doctor build that is going to be MP10 viable, which is great for Witch Doctors because I do feel like they were lacking in the higher end specs. Now, I'm not saying that Witch Doctors couldn't do MP10 before or anything like that, but just to have an extra build to add into their arsenal is really going to make things nice, just in case if you want to mix it up just a little bit. Now, our main damage dealing skill is going to be Fire Bats with the Cloud Bats rune on there. And why this build is viable now, and it was not just a couple of weeks ago, is with the release of patch 1.0.8, they ended up taking the damage from 234, and the Diablo team, they doubled it.
And then we doubled it.
Yes, the Diablo team, they doubled something, once again, up to 500%. So it's going to be doing more damage now. They also ended up increasing the initial cast cost, but they reduced the channeling cost. So what that means to you is the skill is going to be doing more damage, and you're going to be able to use it longer. To the Batmobile. So one thing that I was really enjoying about the Cloud Bats build is going to be its versatility. And by that, I mean you can change out some of the skills, some of the ruins, and pretty much all the passives to fit your playstyle or to get whatever you're going to need in addition to your gear, whether that be more survivability, more damage, or more mana. You're going to be able to do that through the skills. So like I said, you are going to be able to change some of these out. This is just kind of my take on things, but there's also going to be the ones that you're not going to be wanting to touch. And one of those is going to be Locust Swarm with Pestilence. You're going to want to stick with this. This is going to be your main engage, or how you aggro all the mobs on the outer edge of your screen, because our Cloud Bats is going to be the small AoE as you see here, and you're not going to be wanting to chase down mobs or kite around because you're going to be draining your mana really fast. So you go ahead, you Locust Swarm, and then it's going to be hitting Captain Rumford, Deckard Cain, the Stranger, up to the Villager, Merchant, and then finally the Healer. So even the mobs that are off your screen, you're going to be able to pull them towards you. Now, our next skill here is going to be Fire Bats, Cloud Bats. I mean, I pretty much talked about everything about it, other than when you're channeling for 5 seconds, you're going to be able to increase the damage from 500% to 600%. So the longer you can hold this down and use your Cloud Bats, it's going to be benefiting you. Now, our next skill is going to be Soul Harvest. I'd highly recommend sticking with the skill. I mean, you could change it out, but you're going to be able to increase your intelligence by over 600. So it's going to be more damage and more survivability, so you pretty much just can't beat it. Now, Vengeful Spirit, that's what I like to use for that little AoE damage. But you could go ahead, throw on like Swallow Your Soul for if you're having troubles with mana, or Siphon for some survivability. Now, Languish, this isn't too great in my opinion, because we are trying to pull the mobs, all the mobs towards us. If they continually keep running away from you, at that point you might just want to go ahead and totally respec. The last one here is going to be Soul to Waste. Now, I do think this is pretty much a total waste. It's going to increase the duration from 30 seconds to 60 seconds, but the skill itself only has a 15-second cooldown. So to double it, it's basically going to be a total waste.
And then we doubled it.
So Spirit Walk is going to be our next ability on our action bar. I'd highly recommend sticking with this. It is the most used Witch Doctor ability for good reason. It's that button you can press to get to safety nice and fast. Now you could go ahead, throw on one of the other runes as well, Jaunt, if you want some that increased duration. Healing Journey for a little bit of survivability, and Severance. It's kind of like a Trail of Cinders for the Witch Doctor. I don't recommend it, but if that's what you like, go ahead and use it. Honored Guest. Now this is what I prefer to use because we are going to be draining our mana quite frequently. There we go. We're nice and low. I can go ahead, Spirit Walk, and that mana is going to be generating back nice and fast. Our next ability is going to be Spirit Barrage. Now you don't have to use this. This is definitely a skill slot that you can go ahead and put whatever you want here. This is just what I prefer to use because I am going to be able to use my Spirit Barrage. I'm going to be able to use my Fire Bats, my Soul Harvest, and my Spirit Walk all at the same time. So that is going to be pretty nice. But like I said, you could change it out, pull whatever you want here. You could use Gargantuan or some Zombie Dogs if you want. Big Bad Voodoo. Now this is going to be the other one that I would definitely recommend to go ahead and try out. You could throw something like Jungle Drums, Rain Dance, Slam Dance on there. This is a really good ability. It does have a 120-second cooldown, but there's going to be a passive to help you counteract that I'm going to be talking about. I could go ahead and throw something else on here. Haunt, if you want. I was playing around with that. It was alright, nothing crazy. But for survivability, Horrify with Frightening Aspect is going to be great. It's going to increase your armor by 100% for 8 seconds. So if you have 3,000, you're going to be able to get up to 6,000. If you have 4,000 armor, you're going to be able to get up to 8,000. So you could go ahead and double it.
And then we doubled it.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the passives here. Now, Grave of Justice is going to be great for survivability, especially with a Cloud Bats build, which is what we are using. So it's going to be giving us 2% of our life back for every mob that dies within 8 yards. Something to note, this is percentage based. So the bigger your life pool, or the more vitality, the more life percent that you have, well, the more this is going to be helping you out. This is also the same passive that I said is going to be working well with Big Bad Voodoo and things like Gargantuan. those skills that have those really long cooldowns on there, because again, anytime a mob dies within 8 yards, we're going to be reducing our cooldowns by 1 second. So the next passive here that I chose to use is Jungle Fortitude. But like I said before, really these passives, you can go ahead and throw on any of these, whatever's going to fit your playstyle the best, or whatever you're going to be needing in addition to your gear set the most. Go ahead and use. I was using Jungle Fortitude for the higher MPs and the extra survivability. Now our last one here is going to be Circle of Life. Now if you notice, I didn't end up talking about our 6th skill because I was saving that to talk about Circle of Life first. Whenever an enemy dies within 12 yards, you're going to have a 30% chance to summon a zombie dog. So that's going to be working really well with our last skill, which is going to be Sacrifice. I prefer to use this rune here. Each Sacrifice zombie dog is going to increase our damage by 5% for 30 seconds for each zombie dog. So that's pretty crazy. Now, you could go ahead and throw on one of the other runes as well. Black Blood, I wouldn't recommend. Next of Kin, I wouldn't recommend this one as well. But Pride, if you're having troubles with mana, you can go ahead and throw this on. Or for the Master, for that increased survivability, once again, you can go ahead and use for the Master. I wanted to briefly talk about what follower is going to be helping you out the most and what gear to be choosing while you're using a Firebats build. So the Enchantress, I'm going to start with her, ladies first. Now, I'm going to say that she's going to be the one to help you out the least. Mainly due to she has focused mind. Unless you have her like crazily geared, then maybe she's going to be helping you out more. But you're not going to be wanting a ton of attack speed. Now this is going to get a little bit into the gearing portion as well, because our Cloud of Bats is going to be scaling with attacks per second and our attack speed. So what that means is it's going to be draining our mana much faster. So the next follower here is going to be the Scoundrel. Now I definitely recommend him for that increased damage. You go ahead and use this ability. It's going to give you 3% crit chance. Or you could go ahead and use Hysteria as well. It's going to give you 10% damage increase for 3 seconds. Now our last follower is going to be the Templar. And once again, I would recommend using him, but only if you're going for Magic Find, which is mainly what I use him for. But if you're having trouble with mana, you can go ahead and use Inspire, and that's going to give you 4 mana per second. So now to finish up the part with the gearing, it's kind of going to go hand in hand with that last part that I said about attack speed and attacks per second. You're going to be wanting to use a two-handed weapon because they do have that slow attack speed on them. So go ahead, pick up a two-handed. Would recommend using a Scorn. It's pretty much the best two-handed weapon out there. Also, the next thing is Zuni's 4-piece set. Highly, highly, highly recommended for a build like this, and I'll show you why. Well, I'll talk about it why first. Increase mana regeneration by 20 per second. Also, you're going to gain 10 mana whenever you kill a monster. So let me show you here. Basically, we can go ahead and we can watch how fast our mana is going down. It's not very fast, and I would be able to hold this down for quite a while. Now, if I were to hold it down the same length of time, let's go ahead, let this fill up, and then we will take off our 4-piece set bonus. So let's do the same thing once again and hold it down here just for a second. And you can see that our mana is dropping much faster, and I'm already below halfway. So that is going to be why you're going to want to use that 4-piece set bonus. And the last thing is going to be that I don't actually have here is a Stone of Jordan. You can get some increased mana on there, which will be helping you out as well. So the last thing I wanted to do is show the build off in action. As you can see here, I've actually already died twice. This is my 3rd time recording, and I ended up dropping the MP down to 3 to make sure it would not happen again. Now, I'm not saying that you guys couldn't figure out the build for yourself. I'm just showing you so you can kind of get a feel for it. I'm sure you're a lot of smart people and everything out there. Ladies, if you're watching, hey, I'm sure you're pretty smart as well. You can figure it out also. So I'm just going to run around, try to find our first elite pack, and really, hopefully not die this time. It's like I can't walk and talk at the same time. So here we go. Here's our first pack. And you can see, bam, I'm going to have 3 zombie dogs out nice and fast. There we go. I just did my little haunting guy up on top of me. Gonna go ahead, explode my zombie dogs, and I got another one already. Now, where did that elite go? Running away from me. I don't like that. Now, that's what I'm saying about if they're really running away from you a lot, you might have to just go ahead and totally respec. Like, this guy is getting very, very frustrated. I'm going insane here. Okay, I just don't know what else to say. I've pretty much dropped all the knowledge bombs that I know about this build. It's only a couple weeks old, and I don't know all those really in-depth things about it. So knowledge bombs, I stole that from Crippy. If you were watching Crippari in any length of time, you'll know what I was talking about. Knowledge bombs.
We took the exploit and we doubled it.
So I'll try to find one more pack here and hopefully make this video not too boring. But I am kind of just wiping through everything now. Oh, I guess I could go ahead and pull this up real fast. No, not that. This here. There we go. So you can see I'm at 74k damage. I go ahead, I pop my Soul Harvest, and then I explode my 3 dogs, and boom, 108k. That is a pretty nice increase. And the more damage that you do, well, it's going to be scaling even better with it. So there's another elite pack here. Let's go ahead, wipe them out, hopefully not die, successfully conclude this video. And here we go, I got 3 dogs out, gonna make them explode. The only problem when you're using the dogs is while you're fire batting, you are going to be canceling it, as you'll see here once it clears up a little bit, or I'll get out of all this madness. There you go, and I use my zombie dog. Well, my fire bats are going to be stopping, so that is kind of one of the disadvantages about using it. But having that 5% increased damage for 30 seconds is really going to be nice. So let me try to get out of here safely and not die one last time. If I hit the right button, it is T to teleport out of to town. Alright, well that's going to be it. I hope you did enjoy. Go ahead, try out the build. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, subscribe, all that good jazz. And I'm out of here. I'm ChromeOnRust, and I'm out of here. And you all have a great day. And I don't know what I'm doing.
And then we doubled it.